Well, if there's one modification I've always dreamt of, it is custom suspension, and today my wish is finally coming true. We're here at Bilstein Technical Centre, aka Heasman's, right here in Sydney, and we're about to head upstairs and build my $15,000 coilovers. Yep, you heard right. Custom suspension, hydraulic bump stops, and everything in between has always been a bucket list item, and the new build, well, it's getting no expense spared, and that's exactly what we're here to do. One thing you might not know about Bilstein Australia is that they actually build their premium products right here in Sydney, and Paul's been building them for over 30 years. He's an avid four-wheel driver, an absolute fanatical YouTube fan, and well, an absolute gun when it comes to custom suspension builds. So we're gonna go have a look at what he's got and assemble some coilovers. Come with me. I had a feeling I might find you in here.
Hello, mate. How you
Playing
going?
with shocks, what you do best.
Yeah.
Is this what I think it is?
This is what you think it is.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Like a kid at Christmas Day. These have been a dream of mine. I don't even know. When you built the B60s for the original Naughty 40,
that was a while ago,
we were toying with this idea, but
Yep.
never thought it would come true. And now, all it took was my car getting stolen to get this. How good is that? These are, is this the third one?
This is the third one. So
Okay.
I've built 3 of them so far. I've got
Yep.
one left for you to build. So
These are not, I don't know if you've seen my hands recently. These are keyboard hands.
they are going to get nice and oiled up, mate.
Well, if there's one thing I like on a Thursday morning, it's a bit of oil on my hands, that's for sure. I'm very excited. These are the coilovers. Today we're going to build some for you guys. I'm excited. Let's get into it.
Hey everyone, my name's Paul. I'm from Bilstein Shock Absorbers Australia. I've been working here for over 40 years, and I've built shock absorbers from everything from race cars, road cars, four-wheel drive, even solar cars. So today we're building shock absorbers for Sam's new four-wheel drive Land Cruiser. Let's go see how we do it.
So we're over here. This is the final coilover to assemble.
Yep.
Now, I gave you a pretty spicy task of saying, hey Paul, I want 14-inch Bilstein coilovers, make it happen at a ridiculous turnaround. And this is what you've come up with. What are we looking at here, and what is this large, seemingly phallic-shaped thing?
Okay, so what we have here is the basis of what the whole of this started with.
Yep.
So this is a hot form tube that we get from Bilstein. It's a 60mm ID. And then what we've done with it is we cut it to length, we thread the outside, we put the internal circular grooves on the inside there, we get some other parts, and hey presto,
Turns into that.
it turns into that.
Right, so you do all the turning right here in-house.
Everything is done here in-house.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't sub out anything.
Nice.
Everything's done in-house.
Now-
Obviously the fittings here, we get those in.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, most
Most of the good stuff is all
Yep.
done here. Now, am I right in assuming that this is the same as what the Naughty 40s B60 shocks would have started life as?
Yep, yep.
And then this is, I guess, the next step further
Yep.
in progression, or I guess 2 steps, because we've not only just gone, the original B60s and the Naughty 40 were not remote res canister, not adjustable, and obviously just a shock.
Yep, that's correct.
Then
Yep.
the next step would be remote res B60, and we've
Yep.
gone one step further by going a height adjustable coilover
Yep.
with the external canister.
That is correct. That is
Very
correct.
exciting. Now,
Yeah.
the benefits of an external canister.
Okay, so more
about those.
oil volume.
Yep.
More
so
oil
this
volume,
is what this would be.
So that's your canister there.
Yep.
So more oil volume is the main thing that you get out of it. Sort of the other thing is more travel. So you have the shaft of the shock, which has to disappear inside the body. Once it gets to
It's so long, unbelievable. What have we done? But
I
anyway,
don't know.
yeah.
Once it gets to a certain point, obviously it's got to bottom out. If we've got a gas chamber and all that sort of stuff in there,
Gotcha.
it reduces the length. So what
Right,
we do is
okay.
we move the gas chamber into the canister.
Yep.
So when this goes in here, you can have the full travel where it goes all the way to
Full
the bottom.
length of the
Full
tube.
length.
Otherwise, you would have to squeeze something like that somewhere in there.
Yeah, and you
the,
lose
the
travel.
shaft's only going to be half of what it could
That's
be.
correct.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Now in here, there's this guy. Correct?
No.
Incorrect.
This is going to be interesting when it goes together if he does that. So on the end of the piston rod, we have the piston.
Okay.
So that sits on there with
Yep.
shims either side of it.
Yep.
That fits inside and goes up and down
Gotcha.
as the car goes up and down.
Beautiful.
All right, so that's that part there. And then inside the canister, we have a floating piston that separates the gas from the oil side of it. So this piston, as the rod goes in and out, displaces the oil. The floating piston can move up and down inside here and allow for the volume of the shaft moving around.
Awesome. Now the benefit of this obviously is you're getting the canister out of the main body of the shock.
Yep.
I feel like this is also going to allow you a lot greater oil capacity than not having an external canister.
That is correct, yep.
So I guess the simplest way to describe the benefit of the extra oil is what, more cooling capability?
It can act as a cooling capability because you're moving it away. As the piston's working inside the shock absorber, there is heat generated.
Okay.
Once the oil transfers to an area where this is, it does act as a cooling effect on it, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And the gas in here is
nitrogen.
Nitrogen?
Yep, nitrogen.
Okay, awesome. And we've got the ability to fill this with oil and gas it all right here as well?
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Now, before we ordered all these parts and you've got the springs coming and all that sort of thing, I had to give you some very important information.
Yes.
Some of that was the curb weight of the car.
Yep.
Now, obviously, the best way to do that would be corner weight it so you know exactly what all four corners are going to weigh individually.
Yep.
We have to give you the weight of the bar work because that wasn't yet on the car.
Yep.
And then what did we have? We had to give you how much up we're expecting versus how much down so that you could set the springs and find out exactly where the shaft is going to basically be sitting at ride height.
That's correct, yeah.
Right. So that basically has allowed you to go ahead and pick the right shims, valving, I guess, and the spring rates.
So the weight and everything you give us is very important because you've got your sprung weight and your unsprung weight.
Yep.
So your sprung weight's basically the vehicle, your unsprung weight is your diff and your rims and tyres, brakes, all that sort of stuff. So everything has momentum in compression and then also the weight of it in extension, in your rebound. So having the springs to hold the car, but also to arrest the movement of the diff and everything. Obviously not too much, because you don't want it rock hard. And then have the shocks built to control all of that. So all of that goes into our experience and to what we've done before. You've got motion ratios, all that sort of stuff. So
and you've been building these for 30, 40 years, right? So it's becoming, I guess we were talking earlier, it's becoming a dying art of,
unfortunately,
of finding, I guess the easiest way is the older generation that have been doing this for so long. It's a dying art, finding people that still have that knowledge to be able to do it, tune shocks properly, and I guess have been doing it in the industry long enough to just know off the top of their head what it should feel like and what you do need to put into them.
And not only doing it, but going out and using the product and like four-wheel driving and seeing not only what we do, but what everyone else does, and then making sure we're that one step ahead.
Big time.
What we've done here, we've gone that next
step. Several steps, a flight of steps ahead. Now, the final thing we should talk about before I get my hands dirty, God forbid, is bump stops. Now, traditionally, rubber bump stops, progressive design, something like that. Obviously, in a car, they'd probably be a bit bigger, like in an 80 series. This one goes on the shaft of the coilover to protect, I guess, the coilover
basically
from itself.
If something silly does happen, like Sam driving the car, this will compress and it will save this shaft punching through the bottom of the shock absorber or damaging the seal at the top or whatever. So this is just a safety feature on this one, because what we've done on this car
this is exciting.
Hydraulic bump stops.
Very cool.
4-inch travel hydraulic bump stop, and what this is basically a stronger, heavier version of this that reacts in a shorter distance. So as you can see, the shaft is quite large, the body of the shaft, everything is just
very staunch, big time. Because I guess if you've got the weight of a car landing on this, if you're jumping it or whatever, you're going down sand whoops and that kind of thing, there's a chance that you could see the entire weight of a vehicle on a corner at a time.
That's correct,
so it needs to be able to be staunch, strong, all those good things. Obviously, there's a couple of different versions that Bilstein make. This one's the 4-inch stroke, because I think we're going to need all 4 inches of that stroke.
We need a lot of stroke on this car.
One thing Paul and I love, it's a stroke. We're going to be learning together. Paul's been doing this a whole lot longer than I am, so he's going to run lead and I'm just going to be his minion. And
you're going to get your hands dirty, mate.
I'm excited. I hope you got some hand cleaner. I can see a big bottle over there, so we should be fine. Mate, let's load it in the vise and get it built, put it on the dyno and see what happens.
Get to it.
You.
That way and that way. Just put them on.
Okay, I can do this.
That's it.
Very
nice and gentle so you don't damage the seal.
Oh God, this is scary.
That's it.
Oh my God.
If this one leaks.
If there's one coilover.
Hang on, let's put another way. If one of them leaks, it's going to be this one.
I reckon it will be one of yours that leaks, not mine.
All right,
and then this big doggy.
There we go.
Nice, all the way home.
All the way home. All right.
What's next, Doctor?
Spacer.
Yep.
That'll only go on one
Sure,
way.
I want to leave this off.
Other way. No, you've got enough travel. You don't need any more.
So this is based, that lives up here?
Yep. Yeah, that's
right,
perfect.
okay, nice.
Yeah. And then now starting with the thickest one first.
Yeah. So
that's the brake.
The brake.
Right, and then just, this has been,
oh my God.
we've worked all this out already with the rate, what we're doing sort of thing. So basically start at the small.
This dog first.
Yeah.
Now.
Don't contaminate them.
Like, don't drag them onto the bench.
Don't drag them onto the bench, would be a good idea.
I would never do such a thing for starters.
So if we move this to here,
yeah,
and then you can just drag it like that, that's it.
There's maybe a hair on there, but that was there from Paul just getting these ready. That wasn't me contaminating. Now, what have I done? All right.
That's it.
These are very delicate. This is terrifying. Bonk. Look at us go, guys.
Look at this.
Look at me go.
I'm not nervous at all.
So I guess one of the beautiful things about what we're doing here, which is assembling them in Australia, if you've got a car with coilovers like this, and you change the setup, you're not quite happy with the valving or anything like that, you can pull them apart, strip them as many times as you like, rebuild them, revalve them, put different sim stacks in until you're happy with the setup. So I guess we were talking earlier, if for example, I then go ahead and chop the wagon and we save a heap of weight, go an alloy tray setup and that sort of thing, is that we can just pull the coilover out here on site and tweak all this so that it's happy. You don't have to go out and replace the whole thing.
That's correct. You don't have to send them overseas or anything. It's all right here.
All right here. And similarly, if we were, for example, going to go to that trailing arm idea that we were playing with a while ago, you play with obviously the motion ratio and you would run a much shorter coilover. The beautiful thing about this and this being turned right here is that you can shorten
them up. Yeah, so you come up with new lengths sort of thing, or we come up with new lengths, and then what we can do is then we can take these and we can modify these ones so they're not, we've made them nice and long, we can shorten them. We can't add it on.
Yeah, right. What is this?
Okay,
this, I feel like it just lets oil through.
It does. So that's what we call a bleed shim. That lets oil pass through unchecked, so it doesn't go through any of the valving.
Right.
So that the more slots it's got, the bleedier it'll be. The less slots, the firmer it'll be.
Gotcha. So, and then this is obviously tunable as well. So if you wanted more, you'd add maybe more slots or bigger slots.
If your car's too boaty, put less slots on, and it'll.
So if you're a patrol owner, you probably want no slots because they're boats. I said what I said. Internet. How tight will this be? Shock builder. Doesn't smell good. Probably tastes worse. Will we be finding out? All right. Like that. I can feel, oil. I feel the oil. That would be extremely bad if I slammed this in.
Yes, we both get very wet.
Whoa, whoa.
Oh, it's a boy. It's a squirter.
Well, at least we know there's no air.
No air in that.
There's no air in that. Holy. That's 200. 210. Yeah. Race. If I catch up, there's bad things happening. How many men does it take to thread collars onto a coilover?
Well, it didn't make them so bloody big.
I'm glad everything's oily too. It helps.
Yeah, just
That's good, yeah.
all right.
Okay, so what we've done is we've run a test simulation in the shock dyno here, which is just the shock absorber going up and down at different speeds. What that does is translate onto a graph here and show us what the rate of the shock absorber is. Now your car can be moving quite slow, but your shock can be moving quite quick. So all these speeds are shock absorber speeds, not car speeds.
Science. So we've run the Bilstein shock up in the dyno and the valving is exactly what we wanted. It's hit all the marks, we've checked that. So now it's time to actually make it a coilover, Bilstein coilover. And that involves putting coils over the shock.
Basically.
That's exactly what we've done. So basically what's happened is I sent Paul a stack of numbers, curb weights, bar work weights, predicted fuel cell, where that's going to go, what we're using the car for, up travel, down travel, ride height. I gave you a lot of information actually. No wonder that head of yours is so big. Nah, I'm just kidding. But what he's gone ahead and done with that is, I think there's quite a technical equation you have to work out because on a coilover you're running two different springs. at 2 different rates and somehow it works. I don't understand it.
What we've got is 2 different spring rates. We've got 2 different height springs,
Yep.
as you can see here. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll put these 2 springs on. This short spring and the tall spring will operate together. Once it comes to a point of the rate where this one is compressed, we'll lock it out with the lockout system here. So this will stop compressing down. That'll lock that spring out and will operate just on this spring here. There is a formula you use to work out the spring rate, how much travel you need before you go onto the larger spring. We've done all that behind the scenes in the background, so everything's all been worked out, and this is going to work beautifully.
I'm very excited. Great colour as well. I was a little bit worried you were going to stitch me up with some hot pink springs or something along those lines. So I guess now that's set roughly where we think it needs to go.
Yeah, it'll be pretty close, yeah.
Nice. This guy on first.
Yeah, mate. Yep,
do it.
drop that one on first.
Reach up here to the 7th-story penthouse.
Yep.
He comes down. So that's
Beautiful.
the first one. This
Yep.
is the 500-pound spring.
Yep, and then we put the lockout on.
Like this guy. Now, for those playing along at home, if you're stupid like I am, I said to Paul, it terrifies me that this is plastic and not metal, and there seems to be a lot of weight going through it. Then he corrected me in saying, you don't want metal on metal because it's just going to eat through your threads, which obviously makes a lot more sense. So
Yeah.
Anyway, ignore me. Then we have this guy. This
Yep.
is 550-pounder.
Yep,
So again, up to the penthouse.
slide that one on.
Now it's starting to look like a little party town, isn't it?
Put the top spring seat on.
We'll wind him up.
Lock it. Why won't that lock in? There we go. And there you have it. Now what we'll be able to do is set the ride height with this once it's in the car, once we know the ride height. We want approximately 2.5 inches of travel before the lockout comes in. By that stage, the combined rate of this is 262 pounds,
Yep.
let's say. So we want it to get to somewhere near the rate of this spring before it transfers over to this spring.
Gotcha.
All technical.
Very technical.
All
Lost me.
Yeah, okay.
But, you know, as long as the numbers are there and they work and the equation, the maths works, I'm excited.
the maths will work out, and you'll be able to transfer from the twin rate to the single rate.
Yeah.
It'll all be seamless. You probably won't notice it in the car, but what you will notice is the added strength of this one when you do compress it and stuff like that. So.
Beautiful. Awesome. Now, obviously, the front and the rear, in pretty much any four-wheel drive, is going to end up being a different rate spring, which is exactly the case in this. So what we've just assembled is a front.
Yep.
So with the 500 and the 550, we've got different rate springs for the rear.
the
What have
back,
we gone for the rear?
We've gone for 400 and 450 for the rear.
Awesome. So a
Yep.
little bit softer.
A little bit softer.
Obviously, we're going to have the motor. There's a lot of bar work up the front, whereas the rear is, in this new setup, is going to be a little bit lighter. So that's obviously why. Happy days. Well, we're going to assemble a rear.
Yeah.
Show the people and probably get these in the car and take them out to the fabricator and start banging them in the car.
Yeah, well, my job is basically done then.
I'm excited.
And then just hopefully the math is correct.
Hopefully the Fabi can indeed fit a 14-inch coilover in a very small hole.
That's true.
We're about to find out. Nothing a grinder can't fix, I've been told. So this is a rear assembled, pretty much the exact same as the front with just slightly different rate coils, but much for muchness when it comes to assembly. We're going to leave two of the shocks as shocks before we have the coils so that we can take those out to Kinsella's. He can fit them up and run the vehicle through its range of motion and articulate the car without the issue of springs causing him a headache. We can assemble those out there at Kinsella's too. Very, very keen to get these fitted up. You guys are going to have to wait until next week to see all that action because these don't bolt into anything pretty much unless you've got a bloody trophy truck. There's going to be some serious cutting, welding and fabricating needed. Massive thanks to Paul, mate. You have been instrumental in this. Massive thanks to Bilstein Australia and Heisman's as well because they've made this entire project possible. Guys, make sure you subscribe. If you've loved what you've seen, which no doubt you have, drop a comment and, well, see you next week.